some great news to share with all of you. I'm going to introduce Amy Wong from Leap Innovations, and she's going to give us an overview of what's going to happen today. So.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for letting us take up the class time. My name is Amy Wong, and I'm the Chief of Staff at Leap Innovations. I'm so honored to be here today. Thank you all so much for taking time out to hear our message. We're also here to celebrate something really wonderful that you and your teachers and principals have been working towards. So it's going to be a great short program. So over the past year, Mr. Davis, along with Mr. Daniel and a few other teachers here, have been really working towards reimagining what teaching and learning could look like for you and your peers at Lindblom. How they can best tailor education to your individual needs, strengths, and gifts so that each one of you can fulfill your full potential. We know this kind of innovation is hard work. We know that people don't like to change. So when we do take the step to change, we know that it takes courage. We know that it takes the willingness of everyone on this team. Did you know that only a quarter of public high school students in the US are actually prepared for college? And there's a clear equity gap when we do go to college. So we need leaders in education, like the ones here at Linblom, and across our city to champion innovative education solutions to the challenge. That's exactly why we launched Leap Innovations. Our mission is to connect education and innovation to inspire and support the work we've done here at Linblom, across Chicago and across the country, so that we can make sure all students, like you, have the opportunities you deserve to reach your fullest potential. We believe in the transformative power of personalized learning. We're forward-thinking educators with some help from technologies and best practices who can create new models for education in our city and our country. If we can figure out how to personalize learning and get the objectives that you want, we can create new models of education and personalized learning experiences so that you can meet your unique needs and interests. And we want to make learning fun, right? So I think there's all this potential of personalized learning with technologies, with best teachers to make learning fun for every student every day. Again, this work isn't easy, and your teachers have been working really hard towards this. Not only do they do the daily work with teaching, they're sacrificing their weekends and their nights, spring break, to be with us on this journey towards transforming education. So we just want to thank them in dedicating more than 150 hours of work over the last year to put in this work of painting a powerful vision for Linblom going forward. And I know Leap's CEO, Phyllis Lockwood, really wanted to be here. She's actually alum of Linblom. And Jessica Smith on our team is alum of Linblom. So we're excited to see the trajectory. You guys have such a strong history here, and we're excited to see the next steps here. Just want to take a moment to thank our partners locally and nationally for Breakthrough School Chicago. It's made possible through Next Generation Learning Challenges. So Linblom is joining a cohort of schools across the country, changing what education can look like for our public schools. Locally, we also have partners with the Chicago Public Education Fund, the Joyce Foundation, Northern Trust, IMC Financial Markets, and nationally, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has been a huge supporter. So, in conclusion, what's most exciting for me, members of our LEAP team, is that we're putting this focus exactly where it should be on the students. So, that students here, every time we visit, we're inspired by your work, and we want to see you guys taking this work forward and leading the nation and what next generation learning could look like. So thank you for your dedication. Thank you for taking the leap with us. We're so excited to be here today.
So I want to start by thanking both Leap, our ALSC, who's put in hours and hours of time through our Assessment and Evaluation Committee, which has pushed us to innovate internally, and Leap for pushing us from the external. I also want to thank the Chicago Public Education Fund and the other funders who have made this grant possible. Without their funding and their innovation and pushing, change wouldn't happen. I also want to thank Network 11's Chief Megan Hogard for allowing us to innovate and to pilot new educational techniques, and we appreciate having that flexibility to pilot new things. I also want to thank Lindblom's teachers who have gone out and piloted proficiency-based learning across the school this year, and the changes that's brought around in educational experiences for our students. For our students, thank you for putting up with us every day, but also for coming every day. You guys are amazing, and we love seeing your growth while you're here and where you go from here. And we're really hopeful that this will help us, help you go further in life. And so thank you for allowing us to serve you every day. Thank you to Dean Williams, the two assistant principals, Karen and Kendra, for all of their assistance along the way. And a big thank you to the grant team, Caitlin O'Hare, Corey Morrison, Ian Brannigan, and Casey Feast for all their hours they put in on this grant process throughout the year. So thank you so much. I want to frame this for everyone about where this is coming from and where it's going with our grant. Lindblom is almost 100 years old. 2019 will be our 100th anniversary. And if you look back at assessment from 100 years ago to today, you don't really see much difference. An A is an A, a B is a B. With the LEAP Innovation grant and the Breakthrough Schools grant and our pilot this year, we've started to shift that paradigm from an A to a C to a D to a clear feedback on specific skills. And so that is the groundwork for where we go with this grant. That groundwork of PBL comes from our Assessment and Evaluation Committee, who years ago started spending hours of what is the best way to give feedback to students? How do we motivate students around education? And so 3 years ago, we implemented our revision policy school-wide. And we know that research shows that student motivation is best a result of having the opportunity to try again and learn and continue to improve, not just a one-time shot. So that comes directly out of our Assessment and Evaluation Committee, which is parents, teachers, students, and administrators all working and collaborating together. Last year, they spent that time doing more research of how do we go from revision, what's next? And that's where the proficiency-based learning came from, was that collaboration of how do we take the revision and what is the next step of giving a better education and better feedback to our students. And so our PBL journey began with our Assessment and Evaluation Committee, and it's going to keep on going with the help of this grant. With the grant over the next 5 years, we hope to go from a stagnant focus on how much seat time you have. So instead of focusing on how long you're sitting in a seat for 120 hours is what you're currently required to do to get a credit, to moving you forward based on your achievement. When you achieve and show mastery in those skills, moving you forward to the next course. So if all of you are past Algebra 1, but if you're in Algebra 1 and you've mastered all those skills, once you've mastered the skills, instead of sitting there for another 100 hours, we can move you forward to geometry. It's no longer sitting in one seat. We're going to focus on your minds instead of your bodies. That's where we should be focused on, and where we're going to be focused going forward is once you've mastered it, moving you forward from there. And with that, I just want to once again say thank you to LEAP Innovations, the fund, and all the other funders, and all the hard work and collaboration everyone's put in on this process. With that, I'm going to introduce Casey Feast, who's going to say a few words as well. Casey is an ALSC member, teacher, Assessment and Evaluation Committee lead, amazing choir director. I'm skipping something else I have on my list, but Casey.
So, it's an honor to speak on behalf of the other teachers who worked on this project, and it was really a privilege to work with you all. To work with people who are so dedicated, our teachers, also our parents and administrators, and LEAP as well, really dedicated to what's best for our students has been inspiring. And I think it's fitting that we're in this room, because it was, 8 years ago, Ms. Myers, where one of our teachers, Ms. Myers, started experimenting with how to become a better teacher and saw standards-based grading as that solution. And I'm so proud to be at a school where we can take what a teacher has kind of learned on his or her own kind of process and experimentation and spread it through the school. So I thought I'd just have kind of 2 categories of thoughts I'd share, things that I think we've done well, and some warnings I think we should heed as we move forward. So first, things I think we're doing really well, and I think Breakthrough Schools and LEAP have done well. This is a process that allowed flexibility for us. We didn't prescribe a solution, but actually gave us space to consider what matched our school and our population, and I think that's unique to some of the other reforms that we've seen, and will be what ultimately helps us to be successful. We're grounded in research in what we're doing, particularly research that's based in Chicago from the Chicago Consortium, research that's national about best grading practices, what we've learned from states that have rolled out proficiency-based learning or competency-based graduation requirements in the Northeast. And then a few short warnings. I think it's important that we remember that we don't think of personalized learning as just the solution to our budgetary challenges. The idea is not just getting kids in front of machines, and I know that Leap understands that, but I think we need to all have this in mind, that it's about giving students more support, more attention, more flexibility in their learning paths. And we can't yet let it be used and kind of taken to reduce the investment that we have in our support structures. We've heard some good warnings from the same writers and some others at the University of Chicago, like Charles Payne, who wrote So Much Reform, So Little Change, and talked about how many reforms are unsuccessful. And I think we should heed that advice, that we need to make it 3 to 5 years before we start changing our initial plan. We need to stick with it and see it through. And I think it has the wisdom to help us make a 5-year plan, and that's the way that this is structured. Let's see my next one. Camille Farrington, also at CCSR, at the University of Chicago, wrote Failing at School. And it describes how the structure of high schools has been to kind of weed people out, and it used to be, at the turn of the 20th century, it was a sign of success if your school had a high failure rate, because you must have been really rigorous. In an economy with manufacturing jobs aplenty, that made sense, but it doesn't now. So we've got to continue to reassess the structures that we have in terms of graduation requirements at the state level and federal level, what that looks like, and seat hours and Carnegie units, things that are really outdated. We've got to continue to challenge at a broader level than just the school. Let's see, maybe that's ones I can remember. But I think we're really on the right track, and again, it's a privilege to work with the other dedicated teachers here and with Leap, and thank you. It's really been an honor. Thank you.
So at this point, Tim Carnahan, who is the Leap Innovations Manager of Next Gen Expansion, is going to...
Yeah, hi everybody. So I had the pleasure of working with Wayne and his team over the course of the year, and I just want to echo what Casey was saying. Throughout the whole program, all the times we're in workshops working together, the Lindblom team was in deep conversation about what does this mean for kids? What does this mean for our kids? How can we push this further and make learning more deep and relevant for our students? And I think it's a testament to the work that was done before the program launched, and also to Wayne's leadership and the hard work of the core design team, that you really brought forth a very tangible, amazing, powerful plan that could really push Lindblom into a new sort of generation of learning for kids. So, and to put it in a little bit more context, there were 15 schools who went through this whole process. They all put forward really provocative plans to redesign their school with a focus on personalized learning and innovation. All of them received $30,000 in planning, which they were used to test out that innovation. And we are moving 7 forward into what we're calling launch phase, where we're going to be providing a $280,000 a 2-year investment for the school to really push forward on making those plans become real and implement that hard work. So I want to, in addition to thanking Lindblom for all their hard work, just tell you who the other grantees are. CICS Irving Park, Disney 2 Magnet School, Gwendolyn Brooks College Prep Academy, Joseph Lovett Elementary School, Patrick Henry Elementary School, University of Chicago Charter School Donahue Campus, and finally Lindblom Math and Science Academy. I'm really thrilled It is not endorsed, it's not a real check, but it is it's like a symbol of the further investment that we'll be putting into the hard work that you and your team are doing. So congratulations. Thanks. be nice to get the grant team up here to get a quick photo. Ian, Nathan, Corey, Casey, I think Molly should be Ian's photo.
I didn't do my hair today like I normally do.
Good, one more. Beautiful.
Get you guys.
Sure. I think Amy, they want us.
Anybody Snapchat? LSC as well?
Can we get a second one? Maybe step forward.